What could possibly go down this week? What is going to happen? It is Sunday and it's the beginning of week 3 on Big Brother. And baby, trial, tribulations, and turmoil could not have prepared these people for what they went through the first 2 weeks. Will they have a peaceful third week? We shall see. As I pointed out on week 1, the narrator is just as much as part of Big Brother as anybody. Because when he said they blindsided the glitter girl, I lost it. You talking about the shade. Oh, and then Angela asked, she ain't even out the house 10 minutes. And Angela already talking about, can they throw away the glitter? And this is the start to week 3 of Big Brother 26. Whew. Sunday night, head of household competition is the famous good old obstacle course of the balance beam. The balance beam is in full control this week, and the house guests must maneuver the newly created game that Ansley has created, which just looks like a knockoff Candyland if you ask me. First up to take on this balance beam competition is T-Core. This baby is confident and I love it. She ends up getting a score of 9 and she says that's not bad. Boom, everything. And then she states that I hope nobody comes and blows it out of the water. Ironically, Quinn is up next. And Quinn gets an 18, which is double the score that T-Core got. So yes, T-Core, somebody came, somebody blew it up out of the water, and you is no longer in the lead. So Quinn holds this lead for a hot minute until Mackenzie comes up, and she gets a score of 21. But in the last moment, she trips over her own 2 feet, and she falls and gets a score of 0 with almost no time remaining, and she is out. Quinn is confident that he can maintain this score, but good old Cedric said, not today, Satan. Cedric has a plan, Cedric sticks to the plan, and Cedric gets a score of 27. Quinn ass is out. Cedric is in. The last few competitors come through, but none of them are even on his level. So Cedric seamlessly takes control of the house this week because he is the 3rd head of household. He wins the competition, and then he points out that the 2 mascots have been back-to-back HoHs. Chelsea's face says, bitch, shut the fuck up. And then I was looking like, for somebody to be military intelligence, you ain't that intelligent putting out good information about the strength of the mascots and that y'all were back-to-back HOHs. Don't give them no more information than what they need. They might not even have put that together and you didn't even need to say it because it did nothing for your game. But it can paint you as a strong competitor. You always got to remember, the head of household cannot compete for next week's head of household. So you are always in a bad situation from the beginning, especially if you got blood on your hands. So let's see how Cedric plays out his HOH. But before we can get to how his week plays out, let's get to the rest of Sunday night's episode. So Cedric is worried about getting blood on his hands. He also wants a seamless, smooth head of household week like Chelsea had the week before. So he already knows going into the nomination ceremony that he wants to put up Angela and Kenny. They already been on the block for the first 2 ceremonies, so this is a no-brainer. So now he just needs a pawn. Now everybody knows in Big Brother that you don't always want to be the pawn, because the pawn has a high percentage rate of going home. So this actually becomes more of a challenge for Cedric than he anticipated it would be, because nobody wants to be the pawn, especially since they had 2 blindsides back to back in the first 2 weeks. Nobody wants to take that gamble, especially if you know that your game ain't that strong or you're not that confident with your skills to take on the competitions. As Cedric is hosting interviews of who he can put on the block as a pawn, the rest of the house guests are discussing a showman's season, because there's a lot of lust and there's a lot of likes and admiration for people, but just not mutually. So as Matt was eliminated in the first episode, that killed the showmance between him and Mackenzie. And so far, no other house guests look to be aiming for a showmatch. Chelsea has eyes for Cam, but Cam has eyes for Leah. But Leah is a chubby chaser, and there ain't nobody chubby in that house. But her and Quinn are having a good time, hanging out, which people think Quinn is looking at Leah, but I think Quinn ain't looking for nobody but a good old girlfriend, a good old friend. Hey, girl. But Quinn got other things to worry about, and then showmance ain't one of them, because he's already tied to most of the house and multiple different alliances, so he has enough to juggle. Adding a showmance would be detrimental to his game, I believe, and I think. And that's my opinion, and this is my channel. As Cedric is continuing to look for a pawn, good old Tucker comes to the rescue again. He came to Chelsea's rescue to be a pawn, and now he comes to Cedric's rescue, and he volunteers to be a pawn. He has a plan in mind, and him and Cedric begins to discuss and solidify if that's the plan that they want to go with for the week, if Cedric should indeed put him on the block as a pawn. So most of the house at this moment know about Mackenzie's power. The reason why they know about her power is because she told Cedric, because she's basically saying, if you put me up on a block, I'm just going to take myself down. So you're wasting your time. But Tucker believes that it's not a waste of time, because they need to flush out her power and force her to use it. Sounds great, briefs well, but would Cedric take him up on that agenda and get his hands dirty during his HoH, playing Tucker's game? So Ced takes a moment, debates about that, but he in his heart knows that he has to do what is best for his game and nobody else's. So what happens at the ceremony? Well, Cedric nominates Angela, Kenny, and Tucker as the 3 nominees to compete in the AI arena to figure out who would be the final 2. I think it was smart. Week 3 is definitely too early to get any non-critical blood on your hands. It only paints you as a target and gets more eyes on you, and you have a long way to 90 days. So you don't want a target on you this early. So I totally agree with his nominations. The ceremony comes to a close, and we turn our attention to Wednesday, because we need to see what goes down during the veto on Big Brother Season 26. This was Sunday's Head of Household competition, ending with the nomination ceremony. This is your boy EJ, and this is Justaboyandhiscamera.